The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius had to deal with many difficult people during his reign. One notable example is Avidius Cassius, the Governor-General of the Eastern provinces. He was a brutal leader who tortured deserters and prisoners of war. He criticized Marcus for being weak and unfit to be the Emperor of Rome. A civil war ensued. Marcus hoped that Cassius would not be killed or commit suicide so that he could show mercy. Eventually, though, Cassius was killed by one of his legions before he was able to usurp Marcus's title. This is on the extreme end of interpersonal relationship problems. But it was Marcus's reality. In order to remain sane, he had to employ psychological techniques to deal with the numerous difficult people he encountered. Just like Marcus, we will regularly encounter difficult people. Their actions might clash fundamentally with our values. It could be hard to control our emotions when we begin to feel the spark of righteous anger. Marcus had to deal with many troublesome people during his reign. And in Book 11 of Meditations, he lists 10 psychological techniques for dealing with difficult people. If put into practice, they are a great way to maintain one's tranquility in the face of interpersonal conflict. Other people are tricky, but we can do our part to make our relationships a little bit easier. Here are Marcus's 10 techniques for dealing with difficult people. We were all born for each other. The human species wouldn't have survived without cooperation. The reason we can be social is for that end. Recently, I had a disagreement with a crew member of a short film I was working on. Instead of trying to figure out who was right and who was wrong, we should have focused our attention on getting back some measure of collaboration. Our ultimate purpose was to work together on this project, and disagreements should have been resolved with this in mind. Whether it be work colleagues, friends, or family, collaboration is at the heart of any relationship. Make that collaboration work as best you can, and remind others that this is what we were born for. We must satisfy the interests of nature, which is to act in cooperation with one another. And if they aren't capable of cooperation, that is a good enough reason to step away. What they're like eating, in bed, etc. How driven they are by their beliefs. How proud they are of what they do. When someone annoys us, we laser focus on the incident that triggered our emotions. Marcus is asking us to take a broader view. What kind of person are they? Asking this question, you can reduce your anger. Think about them eating, drinking, sleeping, on the toilet, in the shower, doing basic animal things that we all do. So often when we clash with another person, we create a mental hierarchy. Who is right? Who is superior? When you are playing these mental games, going over and over in your head the dysfunctional relationship you have with this person, take a moment to think about this person doing all the things you do. He is also human and is prone to making mistakes. This makes you question why you are giving him so much power over your mind. At the end of the day, you are more similar than different. Taking a wider context, one can also interrogate how consumed people are by their belief system. I remember talking to a family member who had an extreme view of the world with unsubstantiated claims. He was hardwired to his belief system, and it was impossible to separate him from it. Instead of getting angry, I should have thought like Marcus Aurelius. Their behaviour is informed by their beliefs. Just the same with my behaviour. People with strong beliefs are like self-driving cars, programmed to drive towards a specific destination. You can argue all you want, but sometimes the programming is stronger. Realising this can help take the sting out of disagreements. They can't help believing what they believe. They have a very strong conviction that is resistant to criticism. This doesn't need to make you angry. If what they do is right, no cause for complaint. If wrong, this is clearly out of ignorance and not their wish. We can easily get angry with a person without addressing the issue at hand. We can resort to ad hominem attacks rather than taking a more balanced and detached view of things.
In September 2011, you were arrested when police found a loaded, sawn-off pump-action
Oh, a
rifle.
character attack.
No, a
Has
fact.
this got anything to do with the
fact.
topic at hand?
Well, okay. It's
a character attack.
It's called a
on my
fact.
part.
Marcus is suggesting we take a step back and address the validity of their argument. If they have got a point, then accept it and move on. There is no need to be angry that you have made a mistake and have learnt a better way of doing things. That is the Stoic way. As Marcus wrote, the inner master, when confronted with an obstacle, uses it as fuel, like a fire which consumes things that are thrown into it. A small lamp would be snuffed out, but a big fire will engulf what is thrown at it and burn hotter. It consumes the obstacle and uses it to reach a higher level. Use constructive criticism to build your character. Don't start the day with a fixed position. Don't be a small lamp. Be open to people questioning your beliefs, and let them throw logs into your fire. Allow it to burn brighter. Our egos are fragile, and any challenge to them can feel like our identity has been shattered. I remember someone giving me guidance on my table manners, and I was angry and upset for the rest of the day. What a waste of time and energy. I should have taken their guidance and moved on. If what they do is right, there is no cause for complaint. However, if someone is wrong, it is important to realise they haven't been wrong out of malice. Marcus is suggesting a more empathetic approach, that they are unaware of their wrongdoing. He explains that they are kept from truth unwillingly, which is why they resent being called unjust, or arrogant, or greedy. Any suggestion that they aren't good neighbours. Here's some examples of this. Someone cuts you off in traffic. You call them out for their bad behaviour, and they shout back at you. Or someone plays loud music on a train, and you ask them to quiet it down, and they storm into another carriage. Any criticism of their good neighbour image can make them lash out. People want to be good neighbours, but we all have blind spots. If appropriate, bring attention to their blind spots, but refrain from anger when doing so. You yourself have many faults, and are no different to them. We may feel righteous anger, but we are just as susceptible to wrongdoing. Marcus explains that if you do refrain from some things, you still have proclivity to them. We have all considered doing the wrong thing. We may have wanted to insult others in the past. Thinking about this helps connect you with the person you are angry with, remembering that you are flawed just like them. It is a part of the human condition. One can use this as a comeback to an insult. Epictetus said, if you learn that someone is speaking ill of you, don't try to defend yourself against the rumours. Respond instead with, yes, and he doesn't know the half of it, because he could have said more. If someone calls you fat, for example, you could list your other vices. You could say, well, that may be true, but you don't know my other faults. Let me fill you in. This hearty acknowledgement of your faults can reduce any anger you may feel at the insult. Even if what they say is wrong, pretending it isn't can be a light-hearted way of diffusing the situation. It also weakens the power of the insult and the insulter. One needs to know a great deal before one can pronounce with certainty on another's actions. Are they really doing wrong? Can we really be sure about their motivations? Don't be so quick to judgments. If someone misses a date, it may be because they had other priorities to attend to, and didn't have the time to rearrange or cancel. It's always a good idea to get a bigger picture before isolating and critiquing actions. Learn everything you can before you make that final judgment. Often we make pronouncements on people without getting this broader view. It is a good idea to arrange a time to sit down and talk to them, figure out what is going on in their life that has led them to insult you. You may realise that they are going through a lot of drama in their lives, and have treated you unfairly as a result. This isn't an excuse, but knowing this can help you become more empathetic and informed about the situation. When you are high in indignation and perhaps losing patience, remember that human life is a mere fragment of time, and shortly we are all in our graves. Life is short. Do we really want to spend our time high in indignation, experiencing the unpleasant sensation of anger? As Seneca wrote, anger, if not restrained, is frequently more hurtful to us than the injury that provokes it. Remembering that one day we will be in our graves can be a feeling of relief, that one day we won't have to deal with difficult people ever again. But it can also give us some perspective. If someone insults you, bring to the forefront of your mind the fact that you will both be dead. In 50 or 60 years, you will both be in your graves. This can add a dash of humour to arguments, how small a disagreement is in the grand scheme of things. It is not their actions which trouble us, but our judgments of them. If someone upsets you, you are partly responsible. You chose to be upset. You made a negative value judgment about their action. Marcus explained, dismiss your assessment of some supposed outrage, and your anger is gone. This doesn't mean we can't address the problem, but our tranquility will remain intact if we drop our judgments. If you believe yourself to be harmed, then you have been harmed. However, you have the power to change this belief. The greater grief comes from the consequent anger and pain, rather than the original causes of our anger and pain. After an argument, we can spend many days seething in anger. This emotion colours our days. We fuel the anger by repeating the incident again and again in our minds. But we have the power to stop and ask, what is the greater grief? The incident or the anger we feel? What is causing us more harm? You will soon realise it is anger that is the culprit, not the original cause of the anger. The only way to address the original cause calmly and reasonably is to remove the anger. What can the most aggressive man do to you if you continue to be kind to him? Kindness is a supreme antidote to conflict. Gently re-educate the wrongdoer and explain to them that they are only harming themselves, as you have chosen not to be harmed. Direct them towards the appropriate path affectionately, with no hurt feelings. As Marcus said, kindness is invincible. Don't hold on to the incident when you next see this person. Continue to be kind. Shake off any resentment and try to treat them kindly. It is madness to expect bad men to do no wrong. That is asking for the impossible. There are bad people in this world. It is a fact of the universe, and one we should remind ourselves of often so we aren't shocked when we encounter them. It is like the rain. It will be mad to resent the rain. It is a part of nature. Some people will treat you badly, and some days it will rain. You must accept the universe's terms and conditions if you want to remain sane and tranquil throughout your life. It is irrational to believe everyone you meet will treat you well. This will only make you more angry when things don't go your way. As you can see with these techniques, anger is rarely the best card to play when dealing with difficult people. There are psychological strategies we can employ to prevent the seed of anger from growing and deal with the situation calmly and rationally. I hope these 10 techniques help you better deal with difficult people in your life. Good luck, and thanks for watching.